Daytona Beach, Florida, home to Hankster's Hot Rods, Muscle Car, and Collector Car Showroom, where today we have a Hankster certified unit to present to you. This presentation is going to be a little longer in length. This particular kind of car is one that I personally really like to present. I'm going to use the word survivor. A lot of this car is original. The original motor, the original transmission, the original color, a lot of original paint. You know, it has some history to it. You asked for documentation on cars. We have it on this car. We have an ownership history dating back as far as 6 owners. Now, I don't know, the car could have had 10 owners, but we have documentation of 6 owners. We have a build sheet for this car. We have pictures of this car. I don't know if there's a date on them. I'll show you that a little bit later on in the presentation. Original core support on this car. A factory power brake car. A factory power steering car. Today we have a 1970 Plymouth GTX. It is a factory center console 4-speed car with a numbers matching transmission. So a highly desirable car, a lot of history, a lot of story to be told, and the car runs absolutely fantastic. You know, a lot of you probably watch our video presentations and you're like, I wonder if he's telling the truth about the paint, or, you know, I wonder if he's presenting the car like it looks in person. And I can assure you, after watching this presentation, hopefully you know the answer to that question, because like I made the statement earlier, there are portions of this car that are original paint, and it's going to show. So you know how you hear me say in videos, paint's probably 8 to an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. This car is not the case. It's probably a 7 out of 10. And I'll show you why throughout the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. There's a lot to cover, so this video may go a little longer in length than our normal ones. As you know, a 1970 Plymouth GTX started life with a 440. It was the Roadrunners that started with the 383s. GTX has started with a 440, and that's what's in it now because it is a numbers matching motor. I mentioned earlier already in the presentation, that black contraption on driver's side firewall is power brakes, which is what the car started life with. You see on the side of the motor, it has exhaust manifolds. Nobody has switched it over to headers. Is there a fender tag on this GTX? There most certainly is. It is not greatly legible. We will have a photo of the fender tag on our website. Also, a previous owner was nice enough to bring a photo of the fender tag back to life a little bit, and we'll show you that here in the presentation momentarily. It was a factory power steering car. I'm going to break out my iPhone here. It was not around in 1970, and I'm going to see if we can manage to get the number here. Okay, there's the number on the core support. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. 2765 is the partial VIN on the core support. So hopefully you can see that. You can't really get a picture of it because it's too close to the radiator, but the number is right there. But I'm telling you that I'm looking at it, it's there. Why is the number on the core support important? Well, that tells you that the car was never in a front end collision and that the car was never a rust bucket, because one of the first things to rot out was the core support. So back to that paint I was talking about earlier, let's take a look at that. So the white on the hood is vinyl. You can see that there's portions of the paint that are stained, that are missing, that are patinaed. You know, different like dark greens, light greens on the car. It is like that on the top of the fenders, on the hood. So be aware of that. Like I said, I don't know every last inch of the car what is original and what is not original paint, but there is a lot of original paint on the car. Front bumper condition. Looks good. Don't know if it's the original front bumper or not. If it is, it's in fantastic condition. If it's not, it's definitely probably from, you know, the late 70s, maybe even early 80s, something like that. But, you know, maybe one of those previous owners could tell you. Front fender on the driver's side of the car. Notice the cracks in the white body stripe that starts on the driver's front fender, goes on the driver's door, and then continues down the rear quarter. What is most likely the original body striping on the car. BFGs are new. Not brand new, but newer. There is no blistering, bubbling, cracking at the bottom of the fenders, either on driver or passenger side. Very good metal on this car. Really nice body lines, a lot of originality. We'll give you a shot down the side of the quarter here on the driver's side and the passenger side to show you all the body fitment, panel fitment, but it's real nice on this car. This car rides and drives amazing. Front windshield. Nothing really going on the driver's side here. The passenger side, I think there's a little chip. We'll check that out momentarily. The VIN number there, we will have a photo of that on our website. You can see that, the Chrysler Corp. A little spider web crack there in the dash. See that through the windshield? The car has dual chrome mirrors on it. And there is a little bit of patina on the chrome mirrors. See that there? This is not a restored vehicle. It was never fully restored. In fact, it's quite the opposite. A lot of it is original. A lot of it is survivor quality. The paint on the roof is the same as the paint on the hood. There are areas of imperfections in the paint. We could have, taken and painted portions of this car to make it, restripe the car, but we're leaving it like it was to preserve what is left there that may be original. Look at how nicely the driver's door closes to the rear quarter. Open up the door with ease, no issues. Now, I was told from the gentleman we bought the car from, the interior is original. I personally find it hard to believe because of the condition, but that's what I was told. The door panel here, it's metal up top. You can see there's some chipping on the door panel over time. Now normally, that'd be something we'd take and we'd sand down the top of that door panel. We'd just paint it white real fast, But that's not what we're doing with this car. This car is a survivor unit. You can see the armrest is discolored. Again, I was told that the interior is original. I don't know if I have any way to prove that or not, but like I said, if it is, it's exceptional because the interior in this car is fantastic. Look at the back seats. I mean, if that's from 1970, then wow. Really nice condition. You got a little bit of warping back there in your sail panel. See it on the passenger side window there in the corner where the window meets. A little bit of warp there. Headliner, the rest of the headliner in great shape. A little tiny bit of discoloration, because it's white and you've got that typical discolored white look with your, late 60s, early 70s units, but exceptional condition. I mean, look at that driver's seat. The courtesy lights are illuminating in the center console. You got pistol grip 4-speed. Now the GTX mats are new. Those are new. The carpeting underneath the floor mat there, not discolored, torn, faded. The dash we'll take a look at on the test drive, but I mean, I don't know if you can see across the steering wheel and the center console, but see the map light underneath the dash pad? That's working. Your console lights are working. Your dome light's working. You know what's nice about survivor units? It tells you not a lot of people have torn into them. So a lot of the stuff, that is supposed to work, like your center console lights that a lot of times in GTXs have to be fixed because they don't work, they work in this one. And we didn't fix them. We bought it that way. It worked. How about the drop down from the roof to the rear quarter? So I don't know if the camera angle really gives you a perspective. The paint, up top on the rear quarter, it's not fantastic. Like I said, it's probably original up here. You got light spots, dark spots. You got a little bit of a ripple effect there going on in the paint. But nonetheless, You know, hopefully you can see it in the camera angle, but I'm pointing it out, so you should know that it's there. Rear quarters on the car, nice and solid. You know, no Bondo, bubbles, blisters, anything like that. Rear quarters nice and straight. So let's get a shot, well, first around the wheel wells. Again, the wheel opening moldings, check those out. They have little dents in them. They have patina on them. But around the wheel itself, like your metal, is in good condition. And your body lines are nice and straight looking down the quarter of the car. So look at the straightness of the quarter panel to the driver door to the front fender. Everything's nice and aligned and not wavy down the side, or there's no Bondo pop or putty pop, any kind of thing like that going on. Look at this, Hanover, PA. That's where the car was originally delivered to. We have that documentation as well. I'll show you that. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. We do have the factory build sheet for this car, so we'll show you that in this video presentation, as well as present that to you through photographs on our website. Deck lid, same condition as the rest of the paint. You can see there a little rust spot, a couple little, you know, what I mean by rust spot, I don't mean that it's rusting through the deck lid. It's just, you know, the paint got chipped there at one time, and guess what? Underneath paint, there's unfinished metal, and there's a little, you know, rust mark there. So, but it's got the original. So something else, when a car gets restored, you know, when you restore a deck lid, you either repaint the deck lid or you buy a new deck lid because the old deck lid's rusted, right? Well, that tells you that's the original dealership this car came from. So that tells you it's the original factory deck lid and that it was never rusted. You know, this portion right here would have rusted out if this car was a rust bucket. You know, it would have rusted out, and a body man would have either had to put new metal here. You know, if it was holes, they would have had to fill this with putty, smooth it out, and then paint it. But, you know, that dealership tag being there tells you something about the condition and the quality of this particular car. Cooper. So I got to tell you, so when we bought this car, one thing we did do to it, there was literally a snow tire in there that was probably from, I think it was older than the car. I think it was from like 1964. I mean, it was, I'm like, guys, we got to get that. And it was dry rotted like you wouldn't believe. Like, we got to do something about that snow tire. So we gave you a brand new Cooper raised white letter full-size spare. So you're welcome. It's not something we normally do, so don't you know, think that our spares we go through and check the dates. But I mean, you should have seen this tire. I should have took a picture of it. It's actually pretty funny. Jack, spare, trunk. That's factory trunk pan. That's another indication that this car's fantastic. You got the original factory trunk pan in the car. All right, passenger side. Again, hopefully this camera angle gives you, you know, good perspective for the body lines, panel fitment, no waves, anything like that. You know, once again, top of the passenger side rear quarter here, you see color marks, you know, imperfections in the paint. It's throughout the entire car. The paint, again, I'll state it, is probably a 7 out of 10 if you ask my personal opinion. But I love presenting survivor cars. You know, the definitions of a survivor car is it's unmolested, it's untouched. You know, it's original paint, it's original transmission, it's original interior. This isn't a 100% survivor car. I don't know every last inch of the vehicle. I'm not going to claim to. I'm sure one of those 6 previous owners can tell you a lot more about the car than I can. But I'm excited about this particular unit because of what it is. Let's look in the passenger side. Door panel, armrest, a little bit better condition on the passenger side than the driver's side, but you know, still, again, if this was what I'm told, this interior is original. I mean, look at that center console. For any of you that know Mopars, you know that center console there, that wood grain, all blisters and bubbles and discolors, and you get chrome pop there. And it could be a new center console. Somebody might have replaced that at one time. Again, the previous owners might be able to tell you better than I can, seeing as how they own the car, driven the car, worked on the car probably. Passenger side seats in amazing condition. Drip rail molding's in nice shape. Glass clarity on the car is really nice too. I mean, just the vent window glass, the passenger side door glass, the quarter window glass. I told you when we did the windshield presentation, yeah, see there's a little chip there. But other than that, the front windshield looks to be in pretty nice shape. Again, here on the front fender, I want to point out a couple more spots. I can't point out every single paint flaw on this car. Oh, you do have a little crack right here. Okay, there is a little paint crack right there. Now that to me looks like it could be, you know, there might be a little bit of Bondo there, or filler right there in the corner of the cowl, or it could just be popped metal. I don't know. I'm not going to grind on it to find out, but it's cracked right there. And then the passenger side portion of the fender here, see the paint's worn off right there? And then you have your standard paint imperfections in the top of the fender. The striping on the passenger side, same as the driver's side. You know, to me, it looks original. And if, again, that's original, it's in very good shape, meaning that, you know, no portions of it are missing. I mean, that if you want to get really technical, but I'm talking about, you know, major missing portions of the stripe. And then none of it's peeled off. You know, it's not crazy faded if it is original from 1970. If it's not from 1970, then it's, again, maybe middle 70s, you know, late 70s, something like that. It's old. It's old striping. So, we're going to do a document presentation next, which we don't get to do on many cars because we don't have many cars that have documentation. People don't save it for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. But before we do that, you know, this car is going to be, you know, it's going to be up there in price. The reason for that is because, you know, anything that drives up the value of a product is availability, right? Well, one of the things that drive up, you know, availability and how many GTXs are available with the original core support, with a factory build sheet, being the original factory color, that was born a factory 4-speed car, that has the original motor, the original transmission, ownership history, fender tag. It's just all the stars aligned on this particular car. If you are a collector or an investor looking for an investment piece, this, in my opinion, would be it. You know, there's two types of investment pieces. There's your high-end concourse quality, you know, LS6 Chevelle, you know, repainted, new interior, build sheet, protect the plate, the whole 9 yards. And then there's a time capsule or a piece of history like this particular car that, you know, you can't go back in time and make it again. So, pretty cool. 1970 GTX we have here at Hanksters in Daytona. We're going to do a document presentation, like I said, then an undercarriage presentation, and then you would be amazed if you drove this car how nice this car drives, and we're going to do that as well. Before I do that, let's discuss how we encourage you guys to come in person and look at every vehicle that we have for sale in our showroom here in Daytona. We are not in the restoration business. We don't do complete repaints. We don't rebuild motors. We don't rebuild transmissions. You know, we go through our cars, we change all the fluids, we check the brakes, we make sure all the lights work, things like that, and we try to do a lot of showing you guys that in our video presentations. However, we can only put so much information into a little 20-minute video presentation. If you visit us here in Daytona, you're more than welcome to go over the car for 2, 3, 4 hours if you'd like to. We'll pull it outside in the sunshine. You can go over the paint real well out in the natural daylight. We'll put it in the air for you. You can check out the undercarriage, the suspension, the bottom of the motor, transmission, tire condition, floor pan condition. We'll let you drive it. You can see how the car runs, how many horsepower the motor has, if the car handles to your liking, if there's any noises you don't like, you know, things like that. This way, when the car shows up wherever you might be located at, in the United States or in the world, there are no surprises because you were here and you went over the car for yourself in its entirety. We are in the business of selling 40, 50, 60-year-old cars. They are not new cars, especially this one. You know, so know that. And know that when the car shows up, it's not going to be in a 2023 Cadillac condition. And this is why we encourage you guys. I do this every day. Buy them, sell them, work on them. I'm very familiar with them. I can tell you pretty much anything you want to know. I don't consider myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination. There's guys out there that are probably a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But I do consider myself very knowledgeable on a classic car. So we have a great sales staff that's also very knowledgeable, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with this 70 GTX or any other piece of inventory we have in our showroom. Plus, we have an awesome showroom. 25,000 square feet, 60 to 70 cars, cool little gift shop, lots of cool restaurants, Daytona, shopping for the ladies, wine walks, beer walks, whatever. Got a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of stuff to do here. So check us out here in Daytona Beach. Let's present those documents for you on our 1970 GTX, and then we'll go on to our undercarriage presentation. Documentation on our 70 GTX. Let's start with the most important thing first. Build sheet. So we will have a photo of that on our website. What I would venture to say is probably the original jacking instructions. That's probably why they kept that. That would go on the inside of the trunk lid. A little bit of ownership history. I'm not going to disclose everybody's name and phone number and all that stuff, but 1970 GTX VIN number, delivered to Kuhn Motors, Hanover, PA. Owner number 1, Renee Kuhn. Probably one of the dealership's family members would be my guess. They owned it from 0 miles to 79,831. And it goes down on through the list. Again, I'm not going to share people's information on YouTube. So there's just, one tidbit of information. There's 6 owners there. Some of them have phone numbers. You can choose to reach out to them if you'd like to. Somebody has written down a little bit more legible portion of the fender tag. So we used to break down these fender tags, and I used to get all kinds of phone calls and emails saying, no, that's not right. It's this code or that code, or, so we take the pictures of the fender tags. You guys break them down on your own, this way you're not making claim that we're falsifying fender tag information on our website. There's so many different forums and everybody's got their own opinion on a fender tag and this, that, and the other thing, but there's a legible portion of the fender tag. Somebody wrote in pen over the original fender tag. I'm sure that took them some time to do that. So if you cannot read the one that's actually on the car, we will have a photo of this one for you, so that you have that. Original jacking instructions, factory build sheet. This is just miscellaneous parts receipts throughout the years. Nothing of real significance, different batteries, radiators, things like that. So that's it. You will get this binder with the car. It'll be in the trunk. And let's move on to our undercarriage presentation. Underneath our time capsule, our Survivor 1970 GTX. A lot of information under here to present to you, very important, significant information, so let's get started. First of all, not too significant, is the fact that the car has disc brakes up front. Here's something that was not around in 1970, our iPhone. I'm going to turn the light on here. We're going to take a look at the engine block, okay? So your date code, if we can get a shot up there, is 8/12/69. Okay, your partial VIN number, I'll get out of the way, I'm just making sure that you guys got light, okay, 2765, see that VIN number on the block? Numbers matching motor. Numbers matching trans, see that? Okay, we will have photos of those on our website as well. I'm trying to show you with the light. Hopefully you can see it. But numbers matching motor, numbers matching trans on our GTX. Look at the frame rails on the car. In great condition. You do have a pair of exhaust manifolds that drop down to dual pipes, dual mufflers. We'll show you here momentarily. I don't know if all the floor pans are original on the car. I would venture to say yes. It looks like there might have been a section up here that was replaced To me, that's what it looks like right there. However, the rest of it, to me, in my opinion, looks like original factory undercoating. We didn't undercoat that. That's the way it would have came from Chrysler Plymouth Dodge in 1970. Pipes on the car look fantastic. Driver side, passenger side, all of your pipes, no rust holes, rot holes, anything like that going on. Flowmaster mufflers, so you know it is not the original exhaust system. Of course it's not. The tail shaft seal on the car is dry at this time. Speedo cable's dry at this time. What else do we want to cover? How about the rear of the car? You have drum brakes in the rear. Trunk pan's in fantastic condition. You can see a portion of it here. Frame rail, look at how nice that frame rail is right there. Gas tank, definitely not original. The gas tank looks to be new or newer. BFGs, I believe we put these on here and they're fairly new, so let me check here. 22s, so we didn't put them on there, but they're new. Plenty of tread, no dry rot. I like this car. Numbers matching motor, numbers matching trans, original factory 4-speed center console car, 1970 GTX. If you're a cash buyer, we accept cashier's check from your bank and bank wire transfer. If you are financing, the collector car lenders we work with will do up to a 15-year loan on this vehicle. 10% of the purchase price down is going to be your minimum. You can do more if you'd like to. However, the collector car lender is going to require you put at least 10%. So if you're talking about a $50,000 car, you're talking about $5 grand out of pocket. You have to qualify for the loan, of course. If you maybe have a little bit shakier credit or a higher debt-to-income ratio, the lender may require you put 15, maybe even 20, 25% down, but 10 is going to be your minimum. No prepayment penalty, as I already discussed. So it makes it nice to own one of these classic cars. You know, not have to worry about if you take out an 8-year loan on the car and you pay it off in one, they're going to penalize you $1,500 for doing that. They're not going to. It's a nice, simple interest loan. By the way, any additional payments goes towards principal, not towards interest. Once the vehicle is funded in full, we put the car through a pre-delivery inspection. Check lug nut torque, tire pressure, make sure the wipers work, make sure brake lights work, reverse lights work. They're old cars. Anything can happen, start malfunctioning, leaking at any given time. Therefore, we put the vehicle through one last shakedown prior to it leaving our facility and heading your direction. Once the vehicle is through inspection, it goes through detail, and then a carrier is dispatched if we are the ones handling the shipping. Typically, we can have a driver here within a 48-hour window. However, if you're in a more difficult or rural destination, or maybe you're a West Coaster, allow us 3, 4, 5 business days, but we will get your car to you as quickly and as safely as possible. We've been doing this for a few years. We sell a couple cars a month. We have our whole process pretty streamlined, pretty professional. Let's set our 1970 Plymouth GTX down on the ground. We're going to do the fun part, which is take it out for a test drive and show you how the car runs. Okay, this car is pretty cool. Let's start with the furthest option we have, which is our tick-tock tack. The tack is working, but the tick-tock is not. So there's your tack, and the center clock does not work, okay? 86,390. Again, I have no way to prove that's the original miles. It very well could be, however, the title reads exempt. Wipers. Turn signals, driver's side. And in the hood, can you see it with the sun glare? Let's stay on the hood and switch to the passenger side. Hopefully you can see it with the sun glare. Passenger side in the dash. The fuel gauge works on a Mopar product, unbelievable. Temps coming up. We have oil pressure, and the alternator gauge is working. Reverse. Look at that. Reverse light works. You're going to love this. Radio. The original radio works in this friggin' thing. That's pretty cool. If you watch my boring ass videos, I always show how the radios don't work in 90% of them. That's the original radio and it works. Horn. What else do I need to show you? Factory 4-speed car, that's awesome. Hopefully you can pick up better on headliner condition out here in the natural sunlight. These seats are amazing in this car. It's just a cool car. It really is a cool piece of history. It's a desirable car to begin with, but then when you add to it that you have some documentation, you have a build sheet, you have all the stars aligning in terms of fender tag, numbers matching motor, numbers matching trans, all that fun stuff. It's just a cool piece. Let's drive it. This car rides incredible. Speedo. It works, it's accurate. Okay, so our GTX is a larger car. I'm surprised. I didn't think it would move that well, but it actually moves well. Usually the Roadrunners and the GTXs take a little bit more to move the vehicle, but this one's nice and tight. Tracks nicely. There is a little crack there at the top of the steering wheel that I didn't point out earlier, so. Again, this is the original wheel. Very cool car. Zero, and I mean zero, engine vibrations, tranny vibrations, anything like that going on. Car doesn't pop out of gear. I love the pistol grips because it's a nice smooth, it's a nice easy rest. Shifter's up nice and high, I don't have to reach for it, you know. Well, let's run this 440 through a little test here. Get through all 4 gears. I'm gonna drop down to 1 here. There we go. Look at that old baby. 75 miles an hour. This is a cool piece. I think I've said that a couple times, so if you're getting sick of hearing it, I'm sorry. It really is. It's a great car. 1970 Plymouth GTX, numbers matching 440, numbers matching trans. Original 4-speed car. Somebody didn't hack the floor out and put a 4-speed and a column shift automatic car. This thing was born a 4-speed. You know, I showed you that ownership history earlier, and the last name of the person that first owned this car was the same person that owned the dealership. And they probably ordered this car because it was probably cream of the crop. I mean, highly optioned, power steering, power brakes, 4-speed. It was the car. So you're buying a nice piece of history and a great muscle car and a great collector car. 386-944-9219 is our contact phone here in Daytona Beach. If you're interested in our GTX, hanksters.com is our website. So where you can find all the photos of this car along with this video presentation you're watching right this very moment. At full retail price, our GTX includes shipping in the lower 48 United States on an enclosed carrier. It also includes a powertrain warranty. That warranty is good on that 440, this 4-speed trans, and that rear end. Is the price of the vehicle negotiable? It most certainly is within reason. If we negotiate the price of the car, the warranty comes off. The warranty is good at full retail price only. Also, the shipping comes off. Time is money, and it takes us time to ship cars. We actually have to employ somebody to do that, believe it or not. So at the full retail price, we arrange the pickup of the car from our showroom. We arrange the delivery of the vehicle to you. You know, we pay the driver on delivery. We track the progress of the car. At a negotiated cost, you'll do all that legwork on your own. Maybe you are a collector. Maybe you're a Mopar collector. This would be the car to have. You have your own open or enclosed trailer. You want to trailer this car home. There's no issues there whatsoever. You can certainly do that. And if you're local to us here in Daytona Beach and you want to drive our 70 GTX home, you can do that as well. The powertrain warranty I referred to is good at any ASE certified facility in the United States. So you can probably take it to the same person who's working on your daily driver. You do not have to take the car to a restoration center. You can probably take it to, you know, whoever works on you or whatever you're driving these days. Oh, I just rolled through a puddle all over the side of my nice detailed 70 GTX. Hankster's Hot Rods would love to earn your business, add you to our growing customer base, not only throughout the United States, but throughout the entire world. We do export these cars as well if you are looking to do that, if you're watching us from a distance. Hankster's Hot Rods, Daytona Beach, Florida, hanksters.com. Check us out.